Hello everyone, welcome to Projects with Gaurang. Up until now, in this course, we have learned how to write better prompts, how to enforce the structured outputs, and how memory works in LangChain. But if you try to combine all of them in the older LangChain patterns, you are going to fall apart very quickly. A lot of tutorials still are stuck on LLM chain or deeply nested chains. That code might work for demos, but it is not going to scale. It will be hard to debug. It will, and it's already outdated. Even if you check on LangChain documentation, they also recommend not to use LLM chain. So that's why LCEL exists. In this video, we will understand why the old approach failed, what LCEL actually is, and how to build clean, composable pipelines using Gemini models. This video is foundational, and if you skip it or misunderstand it, the rest of the course you will not understand it. So, be very careful with this video and take your time with this video. So, why the old LangChain patterns failed? Earlier versions used to treat chains like an object. So what used to happen was that each chain will be bundled up with prompts, models, parsing, and logic. All was contained into a single abstraction. This actually caused many problems. Chains were difficult to compose, streaming required hacks, async support was messy, and debugging of large systems was very painful. The core issue was that we were modeling objects. What we needed was data flow. Normally, what you require is that you are giving some inputs, model is taking some data, and you want to see data flow through the pipeline and give you predictable output. So, LLM applications should be pipelines. LCEL is LangChain's answer to that problem. Now, what is LCEL? LCEL stands for LangChain Expression Language. It is not a new framework, it's a composition pattern. In LCEL, what happens is that everything is runnable, and runnables can be composed using pipe operator, the vertical bar. So, if you have used Unix pipes before, this idea will feel very familiar. Even if you haven't worked with it, it is a very simple idea, so we will see into it. Now, each component in this format does only one thing. There is no hidden magic and no unnecessary abstractions. So let's move on to the code to see this in practice. First, install these dependencies: LangChain, LangChain Gemini, LangChain Google Gemini, and Pydantic. Then we will import all these dependencies, and we will also import this dot in import load dot inf and execute this function. Now what this function is doing, it is taking the variable from env file and loading it into the main Python file. After this we will define a schema. Now I'm defining this schema because we don't want to work with the raw data, we want to work with structured data. After this, we are going to enforce the particular structure. This parser is going to make sure that the structure is applied on the data. If this fails, that means the data was not in the correct, you can say, structure, and that's what we want. Then we are going to create the prompt template. This is needed, and in Gemini, there are some strict rules due to which you have to give this partial variables. If you are using other models like from OpenAI, they are little bit lenient on it. So keep that in mind. Then we are going to use the model. So I'm going to use 2.5 flash. Now we are going to add the LCEL composition. So this is your LCEL composition. First, your prompt, which will go into the model, then the model output will go into the parser and gets transformed into a structured output. And in this, you can see that each part is replaceable and independent of each other. I can change this prompt and this chain. Wait a minute. Yeah. This chain will work. I can change the model, doesn't matter. The chain does not care. I change the parser again. Chain does not care which parser you use, but the parser should be correct. Now we will invoke our pipeline. Now let's run our code. So python main.py. Run it, and you can see we have our output. Title is LangChain for beginners, and it has given us the sections we wanted. Now, why LCEL is a non-negotiable? If you are building quick demos, you can ignore LCEL, not a big deal. But if you are building APIs, you are building internal tools, you are building SaaS products, or anything which has a potential or which will grow over the time, LCEL is mandatory. If you are going to make any scalable application, you need LCEL. That's a non-negotiable in that because it enables streaming, it will enable async execution, batch processing will be possible, observability will be there, your debugging will be clean, and all that happens without rewriting your pipeline. So that's one thing you need to make sure. Now, let me show you one more piece of code which you can use when you are streaming with LCEL. So, at this, now I have taken the AI agents. So, you can comment this and let's run this again. See, you have now chunks. So, first chunk, it gives the title and only two sections. Then, second chunk, and then the last chunk. So this was streaming with LCEL. One thing about Gemini models you should know is that sometimes Gemini returns partial JSONs. So in production systems, you usually stream before parsing, not after. So this is a real world concern which you should take care of if you going to create production grade application using Gemini. Now, how can we add memory to it? So let me show you how to do it. It's a very simple thing. This is how you add the memory. First, we take the LangChain memory, and I'm using conversation and buffer memory. And then I'm using the runnable pass through. So conversation memory buffer and return messages are true. And then I have added the memory. See, in this everything is explicit. Implicit variables are difficult to spot and debug. This explicit variable is easy to debug. So that's why it is a good thing to use LCEL. Now there is a mini project assignment you have to do. You have to make a blog outline generator which will take input as a topic. The output will be a structured outline and memory refinement is optional. If this feels difficult, like if this mini project feels difficult, do not move forward. Everything else in this course is going to depend on it. I'm going to share the code for this mini project assignment in next video. Now, there are some common mistakes which I've seen many people do it. They jump to agents too early, they ignore structured outputs, treat memory as chat history only, and they sometimes over engineer pipelines. See, LCEL is a system that rewards simplicity. The more simple your system is, the better it's going to perform. Now you have learned how to build clean LCEL pipelines. In next step, what we are going to do is we are going to be feeding them with real world data. So in next video, we will be starting with RAGs, retrieval augmented generation. We are going to use document loaders, chunking strategies, and I'm going to tell you why most RAG systems fail in practice. And this is one of the genuine use cases of LCEL. So that's all for this video. We will meet in the next one. Till then, bye and take care.